Hey there, Wargamers, Justin our Painter here, and today we're going to talk about the Summoner. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel today. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you like the paint jobs you see here and you want to help support what I do, check out the links in the description below. The Monument Hobbies Pro Aqua paint lines, what I used for the majority of the paints here. If you're looking to pick up anything and everything Battletech, check out Fortress Miniatures and Games. And if you want to check out the products that we make at my day job, check out Death Ray Designs. Links for all that in the description below. With that being said, let's jump right into it. Today, we're going to be showing a side-by-side comparison of one of the summoners I've got and the new plastic one. I know there are a couple variants of this, but this is the one I've got. So let's get a tight shot here and we'll start with the metal one. Now, this one's actually finished. Some of the other videos I've done with like the Shadow Cat and the Massacari here, those weren't finished because I didn't get paint on them. This one was. I painted it for my Wolf's Dragoons, and this one was a model, if I recall, that from the Discord community, Clan Wolf or Mr. Herbold, if you hear me use that name, that's referring to him, gave me. He gave me a few mechs when he came down a few years ago with Javasuko, one of the guys from the community as well. And I believe this was one of them. I think he gave me this and I think a Mad Cat. I'm pretty sure that's where I got that. But I digress, yeah. So we've got this guy. I actually like this one pretty well. I think it holds up reasonably well and stays true to the designs within reason. It's got nice sharp details, which make it really, really easy for doing a dry brush on there, things of that nature. It is a chunky guy. Don't get a lot of posing options, and one of the other big negatives is, you can see here, these are custom acrylic bases. I had to cut a hole that he could sit into. It's covered, but down in between his legs there's like a little hex thing that he sits on, and it's almost as thick as this base, but it's not as wide as his feet, so he still needed a base. And if we didn't have a base with a hole in it, he would have been sitting above the base and would have been really weird, and it was not something easy to remove. So that is a slight negative here, but he does look really, really cool. One of the things I like on mechs is being able to get at the canopy here, or the cockpit, and that one's really small, so that's a slight negative. All this stuff fits in with the TRO and the overall look of the Summoner, or the Thor here, whichever name you may know it as. But the new plastic one is a little different on the cockpit front. Now this one's my Beta Galaxy Clan Wolf one that's not done, but the canopy here is a little bigger, so you got a little bit more room for doing details, and that may be something that purists don't like because it's different from the original, but I like that because it gives a nice area to get in there on. I like the rocket pod. It's cool, but doing the missile tips can be tedious and sometimes not look as good. I do favor on some mechs the actual holes, because you can do like a edge highlight on the bottom edge of it and make the recesses for the rocket holes, or rocket ports, things like that, pop pretty well, or just dry brush it. And on these you don't have that benefit because there's little rocket tips. So that's more of a personal preference, but I find this one to be easier and it stands out a little bit better. Detail wise and arm configurations, I like both, but this one's more encrusted with details pretty much everywhere, and its legs are pretty different. They got a similar silhouette but slightly different details. They still kept kind of this rounded hump that comes out. He's got one slightly different shape. Still got the knee plates, but you'll notice that the details themselves have extra things that are slightly different. You even get this like upraised part on the thigh here, same here, but it's still very different. This is one that I'm glad that I painted up a metal one and a plastic one, because I think this one holds up and looks pretty cool, but this one, there's no denying that it is encrusted with details and looks really, really nice. Let's take a look at the back here. Now you'll notice they put a little circle vent here. This one just has a standard circle. Still try to pay a little homage to the original. I got vents in a similar spot here, and you'll notice here as well, one of the problems with some of the metals is some of the details, they'll be where they actually mounted like part of the gate, or the parts you snip off, because that's where the white metal went into the mold, and it's right on top of detail, and then you lose it. Even if you were to dig that out with like an X-Acto or a blade, like that detail down there was so encrusted with metal, like I would have a trench, but I wouldn't have those little vent slits, and I didn't really sit there and dig it out, so I didn't. Whereas this one, the plastic, that is not a problem. So yeah, that's those two. So if you're in the market to pick up a couple of Thors or Summoners here, I think that's a really cool cool to have these side-by-side comparisons for you so you kind of know what you're getting into. Now, this is only one variant. Again, there's a couple different metal ones, but I had one on hand, so I wanted to show you guys what we got here. Now, as always, I do pass it off to you guys. What are your thoughts on these two models? Are you new, so you started with this one? Are you old, so you started with this one? Do you favor this, or do you like both like me? Where do you stand? What do they mean to you? Have any cool stories using these models or cool paint jobs? Sound off in the comments below. Drop those Instagram links and let's get a chat going. As always, if you enjoyed these side-by-side comparisons of metal models versus plastic models, my unboxings, my unit rambles, or my battle reports, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and help support the channel. With that being said, we're going to sign off today, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and allowing me to share some of my Battletech excitement with you. But as always, keep rolling those dice, keep painting your models, and I will catch you guys next time.